Everyone, thanks for tuning back into the channel. If you're new to the channel, so I was an absolute loser, used to be third in the world in Call of Duty, went on a massive self-improvement journey, and now I'm here to kind of give back and share my thoughts. So in today's video, we're going to talk about how being a master cold approacher is going to inevitably cause many issues in your male friendships. And guys, hear me out. So reason number one, you're not going to be able, as you get better and better with women, and as you go out with guys and you want to talk to different girls at the bar, or, you're not going to be able to be friends with guys who aren't truly comfortable in their own skin or get girls. In my experience, it really triggers guys. They get competitive, right? So, like, for example, if you're just at a bar, if you're at the mall, if you're at any venue with a guy and you go, hey, I'll be right back. I want to go talk to this girl. And let's say she's a smoke show. She looks like a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader. You know, a lot of these guys, it completely shatters their version of reality. Like, what? You're like, I've never done that. Like, is that, you're not supposed to do that? Or like, it's supposed to be creepy, or like, wait a minute, like she's talking back to him and he looks smooth with it. Like, wait a minute. Like, is that what I should be? Like, it's either you're wrong, it's either they're wrong, or you're wrong, right? It's either, you're creepy, you're too aggressive, just let them come to you, bro. I've heard that. Let them come to you, bro. Why don't you let them come to you? Well, the girls you want, they're not going to come to you, bro. Okay. So basically, it shatters their version of reality. Some guys are 30 years old. They've never cold approached a hot girl. They've never gone into Whole Foods. And, you're going in there to shop, but then you go chat with a beautiful girl in there, and you try to get her number and ask her out, right? Or you do it at the mall, or you do it at bars. A lot of guys do it at bars with alcohol, right? But they can't really do it in line at Chipotle or at Whole Foods, etc. And it creates extremely competitive vibes, and it's very triggering to a guy's masculinity and very emasculating as well. You won't believe the level of cringe stories that I've experienced just from, and I'm very humble with it, right? I don't go up and talk to girls and walk back to the group and kind of walk with this like invisible lat syndrome and like this demeanor of like, fuck yeah, like I'm such an alpha male. I showed them who's boss. It's not really like that. I'll just be like talking to a guy for an hour, catching up with him, be like, hey, I'll be right back. Go talk to this beautiful girl, come back. And I've had guys just be like, dude, what are you doing? Whoa, dude, yo, you should let them come to you. Like, they try to like combat you and debate you on your whole philosophy of dating dynamics and like approaching women. And it's just like, it's so obvious that you just don't have the balls to do it. You were triggered. Now you're feeling competitive. Other guys, right? They'll just start seeing you do that, and then they'll get really competitive. They'll trying to start show you pictures of a girl they banged, dude. Check out this girl I banged, dude. Or they'll try to start cold approaching themselves at a higher quantity rate than you. It's just absolutely pathetic. It's hard to find male friendship these days where they're supportive. They want to see the best for you. Whether the girl rejects you, hey, nice try, brother. Get the next one. Whether the girl is super into you, right? They're happy for you, right? It's really hard to find these. It really triggers their self-esteem and their limiting beliefs, especially if they suck with ladies. And especially, most guys are self-aware, most of them, even if they lie to themselves. Like, if they go up to a girl that's a 9 or a 10, they know, most guys, like, dude, this girl's not in my league. But if you believe you're in her league, right? And if it's kind of the dynamic is going that way, right? That triggers them as well. There's countless examples, as I mentioned earlier. There was even this 6'5" African American guy, super alpha, 6'5", massive, built like a linebacker. I was visiting a buddy in a different city, and there was a group of guys who went out to the bar, and I was chatting with ladies, and I was kind of making my way around the bar, right? I was on vacation. I was having a good time, and I was talking to a lot of ladies, and the 6'5", super alpha looking guy, I promise you, it really, really triggered him. Really triggered him. And he started to feel like uncomfortable around me. He was like, oh, I guess I got to go try to talk to the girls, or I just kind of wait. I kind of sit back, bro. Like, you're really like about action. Like, it's all good, bro. Like, I've always said, like, dude, no worries, man. You don't need to justify yourself to me. Like, you do you. I'm going to do me. And how about we be supportive, right? I'm not going to clown you if you don't talk to girls, or if you're afraid, right? Don't clown me if I want to talk to girls. Um, you know what I mean? So there's another guy I met one time. Sometimes I go out alone into nightlife and I'll cold approach girls. And so, doing that over the years, obviously I've run into some guys, And one of the guys I've run into a few times, he was out solo. So we kind of linked up that night. We went bar hopping. He knows nothing about me. And that was the example of where I said, I hung out with this guy for like 45 minutes. We were having a good time. And I said, hey, bro, I'll be right back. I go talk to this absolute stunner smoke show. She wasn't that interested in me, but all I say is just once I pick up on that, right? It's a learned skill. I just go, hey, well, I said, anyways, I just wanted to come and say hi. Anyways, I'll let you go. Have a good rest of your night. And that's how you keep your pride and your self-respect intact. And when I started walking away, within 3 seconds, I already don't give one fuck about the girl. I already don't care. It hasn't. He goes, dude, what are you doing? He goes, that was a nightmare scenario. I go, what do you mean nightmare? He goes, dude, she wasn't interested. I go, dude, who gives a fuck? They're not always going to be interested. And he goes, and he started combating me for an hour straight. Oh, dude, you need to let them come to you. You need to let them come to you. I said, dude, trust me, it works. Trust me. I said, you seen me go up to one or two girls. They had a boyfriend or they weren't interested. I said, trust me, bro. You're about to see it. It really works. I get results. And he's like, well, I'm sure you do, but dude, like, you just need to let them get. And like, you could tell it all stems from he just doesn't have the balls to do it. Right. I shattered his version of reality. And it got to the point where I said, hey, bro, let's just be supportive of each other. Right. I'm not going to clown you, yada, yada. Let's just be supportive of each other. He goes, oh, okay, sounds good. He just couldn't stop talking about it the rest of the night. And it got to the point where I realized, dude, this guy's not going to, I can't be friends with this guy. So I ended up about 90 minutes into hanging out with him that night and dealing with the bullshit. I ended up just literally saying nothing, not even texting him. I just left and did my own thing the rest of the night. I just decided, fuck this guy. He's acting like this with me, cold approaching girls. We're not going to be able to be friends. He's too competitive. He's too insecure. Fuck this guy. And I just moved on. And it's sad because I genuinely wanted a new friendship. I genuinely would be supportive of someone, and I'm looking for the same level of support in return. And so, as I mentioned earlier, really what it boils down to is, excuse me, I got a little bit of a cough, guys. Really what it boils down to is either they're not doing what they should be doing, or you're a complete weirdo, you're a creep, you have no concept of social norms and what's right and wrong, right? It creates a massive rift, right? And they mentally do gymnastics. It's like, because really what they're becoming enlightened to is, wow, like if I had the level of balls and confidence that this guy did, I could have been doing this shit for years, right? So they'll try to say, oh, it's creepy, it's not appropriate, you're not supposed to do that, this, and that. But I think it's sad that a lot of guys, even guys that are married, right? They met girls on a dating app, or they met a girl through a friend circle, or they married the high school sweetheart, right? And if they're happy, they're happy. But a lot of guys are going to live and die, and they've never truly, been at Whole Foods or been in line at Chipotle and talk to like the super, super hot chick. And when I say talk to, a lot of guys, they'll bullshit around it. They'll talk to her and it's totally platonic. The girl's confused. Like, am I getting hit on? Is he just chatting with me? Like, what the fuck is going on? I mean, like, really, like, smoothly, like, hey, I noticed you. I just want to say hi, engage in some discussion, rapport building. And then at the end of it, be like, well, yeah, I had to come and shoot my shot. I thought you were really cute. Can I get your number? We should go out sometime. Like, really putting your pride on the line, your ego on the line, and where it's no debating. Okay, this guy, like, the girl knows she's getting hit on. A lot of guys, they are going to live and die, and they've never done that. And I think that's pretty pussy. I think that's pretty sad. Some level of anxiety, you won't believe, the level of anxiety some of these guys have. It's like jumping out of an airplane and, bungee jumping or whatever the fuck it's called, is the same level of literal, a visceral reaction, a heartbeat, anxiety, adrenaline reaction, cortisol of if you're in Whole Foods, right, or sober and said, hey, that 10 out of 10 girl, go talk to her right now and try to get her number. Like, it's that much of a mental blockage that a lot of males have. And, myself included when I first started out in this years ago. And, wrapping up the video, guys, a lot of guys I learned also, I've dealt with this with many people, they end up trying to sabotage your interactions. So they either try to sabotage your interactions because they're jealous and upset. I actually had a friend admit that to another friend of mine. And my friend told me, he goes, hey, you're right. You said he's sabotaging. I didn't know if he really had malicious intent, but Eric, he admitted to me he's jealous of XYZ. And, so a lot of these guys will try to sabotage the interactions. Also, some of the guys, due to pure ego, right? They want to feel better than you now because you actually start to make them feel less than, right? Even when you're not trying to compete, you're not trying to be a dick. So if a girl says, "Oh, I have a boyfriend," or she's not interested, right? I mean, every guy is going to get shot down. Like, so if they see me go up to a girl and within 15, 20 seconds, I'm just like, "Oh, okay, well, I can tell she's not interested." And I'm like, "Oh, anyways, have a good night." They'll go up to the girl immediately after. Like, they witness the whole interaction because they want to try to, for their ego, like prove to you and themselves, like, she didn't like him, but I'm going to try to get her like me. And then what's super cringe is a lot of these girls just say, "Hey, I have a boyfriend." And I go, "Hey, well, thanks for letting me know. He's a lucky guy. Have a great rest of your night." I walk away. Then the other guy tries to go up to beat me. And then the girl's like, "Whoa, what the fuck? Like, I have a boyfriend." And then it's like a double whammy it's like really fucking cringe. So never stop being the best version of yourself is what I've come to the realization of. I go out alone, solo a lot, chatting to women. Cold approaching is something I genuinely love. And I come to the acceptance that it's only like a 1% caliber of guys that are going to be cool with that, accepting of that. There's only one guy I've ever met who is quote unquote a loser, but he wasn't toxic about it. Like, he kind of looked up to it. He wouldn't do it, but he would be supportive of me. It all boils down to support. It's very hard for males to be supportive when they see you cold approaching and if it's at a very high level. So it's unfortunate. So you got to be upfront, you got to set your boundaries, and you got to not be afraid to walk away. But anyways, guys, appreciate you tuning into this video. Trying to hit 50 subscribers. So please like, comment, subscribe. And as always, I will see you in the next video.